Happy Saturday. Today is Saturday, November 7th, week 45 of 2020. We've had a great week. I hope you have too. Week started off on Sunday. It was a beautiful day. It was a little chilly, but it was nice. Cody and I, we decided to go out to Doling Park, a park here in town that I'm looking forward to doing a video on the history of Doling Park. I think that'll be kind of fun. Cody and I just played around with the camera and figuring out different ways of filming the park, making that video interesting. That morning, I read up a lot on the history of Doling Park, and there's a lot of really neat things in the history of that park. I'm looking forward to putting that in a video and sharing a bit of that. I want to do that in kind of a, I don't know, in kind of a tour guide type style. Sunday was the first day of daylight savings change, so our clocks went back an hour on Saturday night. Hoping that someday in the future, people will be looking back at this video, and any video talking about daylight savings, and wondering what was that like. I hope they get rid of daylight savings at some point. It seems to have lost any usefulness to it. If it had any to begin with, I don't really know the history of that. On Monday, I got curious about the history of the Olympics. Watched one of those, or read one of those clickbaity type things about famous Olympians in the past and where are they now. Saw some old pictures of people, and some of those I actually remember. Some of them I remember from watching the Olympics as a kid. And of course, that made me a little sad that we didn't have the Olympics this year, but hopefully we'll have them next year. I think they're planning to have them this next summer like they were supposed to have them this past summer. On Monday, I went for a drive in my lunch break. That was enjoyable. The weather this week has just been beautiful. I think this is like our third Indian summer. We keep thinking it's going to be the last warm time we have before winter sets in, but like today, it's in the 70s. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt again when I thought we were going to, long sleeves and jackets. Also on Monday, I received a nice card in the mail, a thank you note from a friend, just saying thank you for being a friend. It's nice to have good friends. Speaking of thank you for being a friend, that makes me think of the old show, The Golden Girls. There's t-shirts now that are being made of the Golden Girls, and two of our boys bought one each to wear, both Zach and Brian. I just find it funny that a show they never would have watched if they'd been teenagers when it came out is something they wear. I guess it's for irony. On Tuesday, it was a big day for the nation, being election day. A great many people had a lot of stress about that. I'm sure people are happy to have it over with now. But it was also a really big day in our family because Brian got his driver's license on Tuesday. Passed his driver's test. He got an 80%. He's very proud of that. Of course, he's been begging nonstop to take the car places. We're navigating that. It's challenging when you have a brand new driver. Especially since when I was a brand new driver, I totaled my first car. So that makes me nervous about my kids, hoping that they won't follow in those particular footsteps of mine. In fact, maybe I'll find some of the pictures of the car that I totaled, put those here in the video. That was a very sad moment in my life. Although, I came out of that with a much greater appreciation for life, coming that close to a possibility of having not survived. We did decide to put our Christmas tree up early, just the lights, no decorations. We did that actually Monday night. I posted a thing on Facebook asking if other people were doing the same thing, and it sounds to me like a lot of people are really looking forward to this holiday season to help with a lot of the 2020 stress and things. I think people are ready to have something to celebrate that makes them smile and makes them relax a little bit and look forward to 2021, because surely it has to be better than 2020 has been, since there's been so many stressful things in 2020. I don't know why, but on Tuesday I had a curiosity about cheese. I was just thinking, cheese, it all comes from milk. So what makes individual cheeses have their individuality. You know, what makes Gouda Gouda? What makes a blue cheese, you know, blue? And I knew a little bit about what that was, but I watched a video on the chemistry and the science of cheese making. Pretty fascinating. There's everything from the types of enzymes that they use to the types of mold that is introduced, and the way that they do the process makes different cheeses what they are. There's very much more of an art form to it than I thought. It made me think more about other types of foods that are art forms, like wines and beer, fermented, pickled types of things. There's chemistry and all of that that makes the individual product that come out of that different. Also on Tuesday, one of our favorite restaurants that has just now opened a location here in Springfield. The restaurant is called Raising Cane's. It opened up on Tuesday, and we made the trek down there with the intention of going and getting some food from there. But the line was the longest drive-through line I had ever seen. It wrapped around the parking lot next door to it, which is kind of funny since it's a fried chicken place. The parking lot next door is Planet Fitness. The drive-through line was wrapping through there and then wrapped into the parking lot next to that, which I think is like a rib crib. We immediately thought we're gonna wait for a different night, and we got Chick-fil-A instead. Thursday morning, I took Brian to school. This time I got him there on time. It was, again, another beautiful morning. We always have a good time in the car talking, and he's always very curious about things. I'm glad to see that the boys are all curious about lots of things in their lives, and they like to look those things up and learn more about them. But, you know, it's more than just like father, like son. Jill is one that loves to research things too. She's a very, what is it in the Strengths Finders? High input, which I am as well, where when something is curious to us, we immediately like to go and look it up. So we're definitely living in the right generation where we can look that up without having to go to, you know, the reference part of the library or something like that. Thursday night, Zachary and I had our date night. We had devised a plan of sitting down and playing Mario Kart together while watching a movie. The Mario Kart dried up pretty fast. Instead, we watched the movie that Zach picked out was Ocean's 11, which I hadn't seen in a very long time. Come to find out when we looked it up, it actually came out the year that Zach was born. So one of the things that was really interesting that he noticed in it was the fact that all the phones were flip phones, all the monitors were CRTs, the big tube monitors. You didn't have any flat screen type stuff. It was an eye-opening thing, I think, for Zach to realize how much technology has changed even in just his lifetime. On Friday, yesterday, Brian took the car to the mall. He had a funny little learning experience. I've had this same learning experience myself. He calls me up and he says, "Dad, I'm at the mall and the key won't come out of the ignition. I've turned the car off and it won't come out." And I said, "Son, did you put the car in park?" And he went, "Dad, you're a genius." And he laughed and put the car in park and was able to get the key out. It's funny seeing the world through the eyes of our kids as they discover things that we haven't thought about since we were their age. And that brings us up to today, Saturday. It is a beautiful day, like I said. We're in the 70s. I think we're supposed to have this weather for another couple more days. I got a chance to do some really nice videos this week looking at the fall colors. Oh, speaking of the fall colors this year have been just beautiful, the most beautiful I can remember. It's only seeming to get nicer and nicer. I guess with all the stuff with 2020 and the challenges that we've had, this particular fall has been a wonderful blessing as far as the beauty and the weather that we've had to enjoy being outdoors and just enjoying a nice fall in the Ozarks. Well, that's it for this week. We've had a pretty nice week. You know, even with all the stresses that are going on with the election and that sort of stuff, it's been an enjoyable week. So that wraps up week 45 of 2020. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.